Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Munmun Bhattacharya. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's External Affairs Minister holds bilateral talks with his Afghan counterpart in New Delhi. Taliban minister assures India, Afghan soil won't be used against any country. Israel's military says a ceasefire agreement is now in effect in Gaza, but Netanyahu warns troops will stay until specific conditions are met. Venezuela's opposition leader and democracy activist Maria Corina Machado wins the Nobel Peace Prize 2025. Afghanistan Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi met India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar at Hyderabad House in New Delhi. External Affairs Minister warmly welcomed Muttaqi and announced that India's technical mission in Kabul would be upgraded to the status of an Indian embassy. He emphasized India's strong commitment to Afghanistan's sovereignty, territorial integrity and independence.
India is fully committed to the sovereignty, territorial integrity and independence of Afghanistan. Closer cooperation between us contributes to your national development as well as regional stability and resilience. To enhance that, I am pleased to announce today the upgrading of India's technical mission in Kabul to the status of Embassy of India.
The Foreign Minister of Afghanistan stated that India and Afghanistan should increase their mutual contact and exchange.
I am happy today that I'm here in Delhi, and this visit will increase or strengthen the understanding between both countries and open a new chapter between these relations. We hope that Afghanistan and India, on an official level and in different areas, increase their engagements and exchanges. We hope that through talks and dialogue we can increase the level of understanding between us. We always sought good relations with India. We will not allow any group to threaten anyone else or use the territory of Afghanistan against others.
India also handed over 5 ambulances to Afghanistan, with External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar noting that this forms part of a broader donation of 20 ambulances and additional medical equipment, demonstrating India's continued commitment to supporting the Afghan people. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Friday addressed the members of the Indian community in Sydney, Australia. Speaking at the event, Minister said India is now the 4th largest economy and the fastest growing economy in the world.
पिछले 12 वर्षों में इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी में भारत का कद ऊंचा हुआ है। भारत के प्रति पूरे विश्व में एक सम्मान का भाव बढ़ा है। इसे सहज रूप से सारे लोग स्वीकार करते हैं। उनमें फास्टेस्ट ग्रोइंग इकोनॉमी यदि कोई है मेजर इकोनॉमीज में, तो हमारी आज भारत है। यह हमारा एक मेजर अचीवमेंट है, मैं मानता हूं। मैं एक आंकड़े को देख रहा था कि रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया के अनुसार 25-26 में भारत की रियल जीडीपी ग्रोथ अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 6.5% तक पहुंच गई है।
Pakistan is facing growing unrest as Tehreek-e-Labbaik Pakistan ramps up protests against the army and the government. In Lahore, clashes turned violent with reports of police firing, shelling and acid use, leaving many injured. Though authorities try to contain TLP workers, tensions remain high. For now, internet services remain suspended in Islamabad and Rawalpindi to curb the chaos. India's President Draupadi Murmu visited the Somnath Mahadev temple at Gir Somnath of Gujarat on Friday. President Murmu performed Jalabhishek, Someshwar Mahapuja and Dhwaja Puja during her visit. She also paid floral tributes to the statue of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in the temple premises. President Murmu is on a 3-day visit to Gujarat from the 9th to the 11th of October. The National Small Industries Corporation organized the MSME Marketing Conclave under the Trade Enablement and Marketing Initiative of the Ministry of MSME. The conclave was held at the Kasia Conference Hall, Bengaluru on October 10, 2025 to sensitize industries in the MSME sector and create awareness about marketing opportunities, particularly in the digital space. The team initiative aims to harness the power of digital marketing by supporting and sponsoring MSMEs on digital marketing platforms. Minister of State for MSME, Shobha Karandlaje, graced the occasion as the chief guest and emphasized the government's continued commitment to strengthening the MSME ecosystem. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will launch the PM Dhanya Krishi Yojana and Mission for Atmanirbharta in pulses on Saturday in New Delhi. Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan said that to connect farmers directly with the Prime Minister, there will be a state-level program in every state, a district-level program in every district.
दूरदर्शन के माध्यम से मैं आपसे अपील करना चाहता हूँ, ये 2 महत्वपूर्ण मिशन आत्मनिर्भरता के लिए दलहन मिशन और प्रधानमंत्री धन धान्य कृषि योजना 11 अक्टूबर को 10:30 बजे प्रधानमंत्री जी लॉन्च करेंगे और प्रधानमंत्री से किसानों को सीधा जोड़ने के लिए हमने तय किया है कि हर राज्य में एक राज्य स्तर का कार्यक्रम होगा, जिले में जिले स्तर पर कार्यक्रम होगा, ब्लॉक में कार्यक्रम होगा और हमारी कोशिश यह है कि पंचायत में भी किसान भाई बैठ के प्रधानमंत्री जी के उद्बोधन को सुने, उस समय उनसे प्रेरणा प्राप्त करें।
Delhi, the capital of India, is heavily congested with traffic, and for those riding without a helmet, the threat always looms large. On Friday, Delhi police conducted a helmet awareness drive in the city, which was also joined in by school children. Vishal Baristo reports.
With more than 12 million vehicles on the roads, Delhi has heavy traffic. Around 70% of these vehicles are two-wheelers. Riding without a helmet is a grave risk. According to the police, more than 450 people riding without a helmet died in road accidents this year.
During this year, 452 people have lost their lives, and most of these are two-wheeler drivers, scooters and motorcyclists, and majority of them were not wearing helmets when they were driving their vehicles.
In a mass awareness campaign, Delhi police distributed helmets to the traffic offenders. Making the occasion special, school children offered roses to the traffic offenders to spread the awareness.
We've given these flowers to those who don't follow the traffic rules, because so that they know that it is very important, and if they don't wear their helmet properly, they could also lose their lives.
Wearing helmet is mandatory even for the pillion rider, and yet some are ready to risk their lives and pay the penalty.
I was coming from home to pay the electricity bill. Was carrying the helmet but was not wearing it. This is my fault.
Amidst the festive season and onset of winters, the campaign assumes greater importance. Vishal Baristo's report for DD India.
On the occasion of World Space Week 2025, the Russia House in New Delhi held an interactive session with the space hero of Russia, Denis Matveev, where the hero interacted with young minds and shared his experience. DD India's Deepika had an exclusive conversation with Denis Matveev, who talked about the opportunities and scope of investments in the space sector. Take a listen.
World is celebrating World Space Week, and also on the occasion we have with us Denis Matveev, who is the Russian hero and the celebrated cosmonaut. Thank you so much for talking exclusively to DD India. My first question is that you have been training, you've been exploring space, and over so many years, what is one thing that you've seen changing in the space economy and in the space segment altogether for the entire world?
So I've been doing this activity for many years, and I've been doing it as a professional cosmonaut. So, and what I can see now, and I see that the access to space is becoming more and more accessible. So more and more people fly into space, not only as a professionals, but also as a private cosmonauts, and they are doing not only the orbital flight, but also suborbital flight. So it shows that so many countries, so many private companies, governmental companies are interested into space, and that's why they are doing this, the whole variety of space activities to send human in space and to develop space technologies.
India and Russia, both of them share a very diversified relationship, not only in the trade sector, cultural sector, but also in the space economy. What are the opportunities that you see in India when we talk about space economy?
I think that the most correct way to develop whatever branch is cooperation, and yes, Russian Federation and Indian Federation has a long and good history of good cooperation, especially in space. And not so long ago, four of Indian test pilots were training in Gagarin Cosmonaut Center, and not so long ago, like 3 months ago, one of them in the newest India history flew into space, and India is going to continue to develop its own national project Gaganyaan to send its men into space. And Russian Federation is helping India with that to make it possible.
So there you heard Mr. Medvedev, who says that one needs to have an independent station in order to become developed, and having so many already projects on the right track, India can also be one of them. With camera person Sunny Kalra, this is Deepika reporting for DD India, New Delhi.
Sri Lankan government announced a cabinet reshuffle appointing new ministers to key portfolios as part of a broader realignment aimed at strengthening administrative focus in several sectors. Anuka Karunatha Laka has been named Minister of Ports and Civil Aviation, while H.M. Sushil Ranasinghe takes charge as Minister of Housing, Construction and Water Supply. Bimal Ratnaike, who previously oversaw the combined transport, highways, ports and civil aviation portfolio, will now serve as Minister of Transport, Highways and Urban Development. A number of deputy ministerial appointments also accompanied the reshuffle, including Anil Jayanta Fernando as Deputy Minister of Finance and Planning. Other appointments covered sectors such as health, energy, mass media and youth affairs, marking a wider recalibration of responsibilities across the administration. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live, US denies reports of supplying new advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles to Pakistan. Peru's Congress leader Jose Herri becomes president of the South American country.
So now you can't talk about British imperialism in India without talking about the East India Company.
Britain is just dotted with the visible representations of loot from India. The one thing you folks have never done is just say sorry.
Are you ready to roll?
I am ready to roll.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. The United States on Friday denied any delivery of the advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles to Pakistan. This is contrary to what was reported by multiple media outlets on Tuesday. In a statement, the US Embassy in India said that the new contract with Pakistan is meant for certain sustainment items and does not include any new deliveries of the said missiles, debunking media reports as false. The statement reads, on September 30, 2025, the Department of War released a list of standard contract announcements which refer to an amendment to an existing foreign military sales contract for sustainment and spares for several countries, including Pakistan. The administration would like to emphasize that contrary to false media reports, no part of this referenced contract modification is for deliveries of new advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles or AMRAAMs to Pakistan. The US Embassy's statement appears directly to counter those claims, stressing that the contract is purely intended to support existing systems rather than enhance them. The clarification underscores Washington's awareness of perceptions that it could be influencing regional military balances. Israel's Justice Ministry published on Friday a list of 250 prisoners expected to be released in exchange for hostages still held in Gaza as part of a ceasefire deal with Hamas. The list does not include the names of several senior Palestinian militant leaders seen as symbols of resistance and whose release Hamas has demanded. Earlier on Friday morning, Israel's government ratified a ceasefire agreement with Hamas, clearing the way for release of Israeli hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners and the start of a phased withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza.
Beautiful phrase, and we...
The agreement is just the first phase of US President Donald Trump's 20-point peace plan, and there is still a number of sticking points for working out. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in his address to the nation, warned that the forces will remain in Gaza until specific conditions are met.
But the hardest challenge of all still remains to bring home all the remaining hostages, 20 living hostages and 28 who were taken and killed.
Peru gets a new interim president after lawmakers in a shocking vote removed Dina Boluarte. Congress leader Jose Herri has taken over as interim president until elections in April 2026. Boluarte, whose term since 2022 has been marked by protests and accusations of failing to stem crime, refused to appear before the U.S. Congress. In fact, the Congress for the overnight hearing, an overwhelming majority of 118 out of 122 lawmakers voted for her impeachment, removing her from presidency. A Chinese Coast Guard vessel was spotted sailing near the disputed Pratas Islands in the South China Sea on Friday, a Taiwan Coast Guard official said. The incident happened before the National Day celebration in Taipei, where President Lai Ching-te announced a new air defense system to deter Chinese threats. Taiwan Coast Guard official Chiu Tai-feng said in a recorded message that the Chinese vessel was detected 23 nautical miles southwest of the Pratas Islands. He added that the action is a deliberate grey zone tactic with apparent intention of undermining peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait and the region. The Norwegian Nobel Committee on Friday announced that the Nobel Peace Prize 2025 has been awarded to Maria Corina Machado. The committee has decided to award Machado for her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela and for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy. The Nobel Peace Prize is one of the 5 awards established by the will of Alfred Nobel, the Swedish inventor of dynamite. It is given annually to individuals or organizations that have made outstanding contributions to peace efforts. The prize consists of a diploma, a gold medal, and a check for $1.2 million.
The Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 goes to a brave and committed champion of peace, to a woman who keeps the flame of democracy burning amidst a growing darkness. The Norwegian Nobel Committee has decided to award the Nobel Peace Prize for 2025 to Maria Corina Machado. She is receiving the Nobel Peace Prize for her tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela and for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy.
The meeting of the Council of Heads of State of the CIS member states in Tajikistan's capital Dushanbe is going on in an expanded format. At the meeting of the CIS Council of Heads of State, a package of documents was signed, and these included decisions on the establishment of the CIS Plus format and on granting the Shanghai Cooperation Organization observer status in the CIS. RT correspondent Anastasia Volodina reports from Dushanbe on the day's roundup of what happened at this important summit.
The Commonwealth of Independent States Summit this year is taking place in Tajikistan and in Tajikistani capital Dushanbe. And of course, the chair of this year's summit is Tajikistan and its leader Emomali Rahmon, who has already hosted all the leaders. They've all arrived yesterday, and today they're holding the official part of the summit where they've gathered to discuss a number of topics. And of course, we first have to mention here that the CIS countries include leaders and top officials with their delegations from Russia, Azerbaijan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan and others. And of course, the topics on the agenda include cooperation in various fields from political, economic, humanitarian and defense as well. And the CIS countries are planning to approve cooperation programs against terrorism and extremism and strengthening border security as well. And the CIS countries also plan to adopt military cooperation concept. We're also expecting a declaration on regional energy security, which would promote balance and stability in the energy sector among the CIS countries. The CIS countries are also planning to give the Shanghai Cooperation Organization an observer status to the CIS. And this basically means that the SCO won't actually have the right to vote, but it will be able to participate in all the summits and all the discussions. It will also be able to attend all the events without actually being a full member of the Commonwealth of Independent States. And of course, as already mentioned, the SCO won't be able to have the voting right, but this will basically give the two organizations the ability and chance to cooperate with one another, as of course a lot of members of the CIS are also part of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
IUCN World Conservation Congress is being held in Abu Dhabi from the October 9th to 15th. The event brings together global experts and leaders to strengthen partnerships and promote effective international cooperation in environmental action. Mukhtar Babayev, president of the 29th Conference of the Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, addressed the IUCN World Conservation Congress on Friday. Speaking at the event, President Mukhtar Babayev highlighted the Baku to Belém roadmap and called for scaling up climate finance for developing nations to at least $1.3 trillion annually by 2035. Reaffirming his commitment to the Rio Trio of environmental conventions on climate change, biodiversity and desertification, the president underscored the importance of synergy among them to boost collective impact. He described the Congress as a valuable forum to engage with governments, researchers, NGOs, youth and indigenous communities on conservation and climate challenges, noting support for Brazil's preparations for COP30 in Belém.
Today it is also for us a good chance to hear the voices and deliver it at COP30 in Belém. Another one very important issue is how to make the work or activities of three conventions, climate change, biodiversity and desertification conventions, to make it together, to make this work together more efficiently, to find a synergy between these three conventions.
The German economy is now forecast to grow slightly better than initially predicted earlier this year, according to the Economy Ministry's latest autumn outlook. Joining us with more is DW correspondent Chiponda Chimbelu in Berlin. Chiponda, what are the key figures?
Well, the German economy is expected to grow by 0.2% this year. So that is, of course, better than the stagnation that was expected. And the pace of growth will quicken next year. GDP is expected to expand by 1.3% in 2026, which is 0.3% higher than was forecast in the spring. Now, while that, of course, is a rare gem of good news on the German economy, Economy Minister Katharina Reiche did also point out that this positive outlook should not obscure the fact that a big chunk of the growth is actually coming from high government spending. Now, Reiche says reform is needed in Europe's biggest economy for it to achieve long-term growth. Now, the economy minister would like to see lower energy costs, incentivizing private investment by lowering tax and social deductions, less bureaucracy, more innovation, and a more open market. Now, that is, of course, a list of reforms that has become a song that has been sung by German businesses for a while now. But the government is now under pressure to deliver because, of course, the economy has been struggling in recent years.
India finished at 318 for 2 at the end of day 1 of the second test match against West Indies at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in New Delhi. Opener Yashasvi Jaiswal smashed his 7th test century in style as he remained unbeaten on 173 runs. The other young left-hander at the crease, Sai Sudarshan, also smashed a half-century as West Indies' attack failed to break through the defences of Indian batters. The only highlight of the day for West Indies came in the first session when KL Rahul fell short of his 50 after being deceived by Homel Varikan's spin. India lead the 2-match series 1-0 and will be eyeing a clean sweep against an out-of-form West Indies side. That's all in this edition of DD India Live, but do share your thoughts with us on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. This is Munmun Bhattacharya from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.